Level 0. The recruit. The phone lights up on a Sunday afternoon when you have nothing going on. A name you haven't thought about in 2 years. The message is 3 sentences long and reads like it was written by someone who genuinely missed you. She says she has been thinking about you. She says she came across something and immediately thought of your energy, your drive, the way you always seemed like someone who wanted more. She asks if you have 20 minutes this week. You stare at it longer than the message deserves. She responds in under 4 minutes. She already has a coffee place in mind. She already knows when you're free. You notice the speed of the response but don't stay with it. You are 26 years old. You have a degree that made sense when you chose it. You have a job that pays enough to not be a crisis and not enough to be a plan. You have been quietly, persistently, almost boringly unhappy for about 14 months. Not the dramatic kind, the administrative kind. The kind that shows up in the 10 minutes before you fall asleep when you run the numbers of your life, and they don't quite add up to anything you would have chosen. The coffee place she suggested is bright and expensive. She walks in looking different than you remember, not physically, exactly, but in some quality of presence. She sits down and within 30 seconds has asked you 3 questions that feel remarkably like the questions a good therapist would ask. How are you really doing? What does your ideal life actually look like? Do you feel like you're building toward something right now? You answer honestly. This surprises you. You don't notice that she has not answered a single question about herself. By the end of the coffee, she has shown you a screenshot on her phone. $847 in 1 week. She tells you she is not trying to sell you anything. She just thought of you because you seem like someone who deserves more than what you're currently settling for. That sentence lands somewhere specific inside you. You say yes before you finished your coffee. Level 1. The believer. The hotel conference room is on the 4th floor. 60 people you don't know. Chairs facing a screen. On the screen, a woman on a balcony overlooking water. A car in a driveway. A laptop on a kitchen table surrounded by children who are laughing. The word freedom in clean white letters. The presenter speaks in a voice that sounds like it was trained to eliminate doubt. She does not say selling. She says sharing what you love. She says community 11 times. You count without meaning to. You sign the form that night. You pay $199 for the starter kit. You carry it home on the bus and open it on your kitchen floor. The products smell expensive. You take a photo and post it. 7 people like it immediately. You believe in the product because you need to believe in the product. You message 3 friends that week. 1 buys. You make $34 in commission. It feels like proof of something, though you could say exactly what. Your upline posts about you in the group chat. So proud of this one. She is going places. 40 strangers send you hearts and fire emojis, and you feel seen in a way that is genuinely difficult to explain, and that you do not examine too closely because examining it might dissolve it. You are not being paid yet. You are being paid in belonging. Belonging, it turns out, has a price you haven't read the fine print on. Level 2. The recruiter. Your upline sits across from you with a notebook and tells you to write down everyone you know. Family, friends, old classmates, former coworkers, anyone whose number is in your phone. You write down 87 names. She circles 20 and calls them your warm market. She tells you not to lead with the business. Lead with genuine interest. Ask how they've been. Listen, then share. You send the first message on a Sunday morning. Your hands feel strange while you type it. The first 3 don't respond. The 4th says she is not interested. The 5th says something unkind. Your upline tells you those people aren't ready yet. Not everyone can see the vision. You cross their names off the list. You find the next name. You type another message. You learn to listen differently now. Someone mentions wanting to work from home. Someone posts about money stress. Someone just had a baby and looks exhausted in every photo. You remember these details the way a navigator remembers landmarks. You reach back out at the right moment. You lead with genuine interest. You recruit your college friend 3 weeks later. She just lost her job. She needs something to feel hopeful about. You know this, you use this. You frame it as doing her a favor. You tell her you thought of her because she has exactly the kind of energy this needs. She signs the form. She pays the $199. She hugs you and says she can't believe you thought of her. That night, you lie awake for 20 minutes thinking about something you can't quite name. Then you fall asleep. In the morning, you don't think about it again. Level 3. The upline. You have 8 people in your downline now. You sit across from your newest recruit. Notebook open, pen ready, and you tell her to write down everyone she knows. You tell her not to lead with the business. You tell her to listen first. You tell her the people who say no just aren't ready yet. You hear yourself deliver every line you were given, in the same order. With the same pauses, your voice sounds like your upline's voice, and you do not pause on this. You manage her script, you correct her language, you adjust her timing, you teach her everything the training contains. You do not tell her what you found at 1 a.m. 3 weeks ago, buried on page 11 of the company's annual report, in a table with a font size slightly smaller than everything around it. The income disclosure statement, median annual income for active participants at your rank, $304. You close the tab. You went to sleep. You did not tell her because your upline never told you. You did not tell her because telling her would require you to sit with what it means that you already knew and kept dialing anyway. The silence is not a decision you make. It is the path of least resistance wearing professionalism's clothes. Level 4. The leader. 3,000 people in an arena. The woman on stage drives a car the company gave her. She is talking about her children watching her build something real. The crowd responds in a way that makes the floor vibrate beneath your seat. You are invited to speak. 5 minutes, your story. You stand at the microphone and tell the version that got you here, the Sunday afternoon message, the coffee, the moment something shifted. You tell it cleanly. You tell it with the specific details that make people lean forward. You have told it enough times now that you know exactly which sentence makes the room go quiet. You do not mention the $304. You do not mention your college friend who has spent $2,300 and made $180 and stopped returning your calls. You do not mention the 11 people in your downline who have gone quiet in the last month. You tell the story that the room needs to be true in order to keep running. You deliver it with something in your voice that sounds enough like conviction that no one questions it. Afterward, a woman approaches you, tears on her face. She says your story changed something in her. She asks how to get started. You look at her and you understand, clearly, completely, for the first time without looking away, that you are not going to tell her the truth. Not because you don't know it, not because you forgot it, because the machine only runs if you don't. You smile, you hand her your card. You say, let's get you started. Level 5. The architect. You no longer recruit. You train people who recruit. You have written a 63-page training document. It covers objection handling, follow-up sequences, social media positioning, and how to respond when someone asks directly whether this is a pyramid scheme. The answer on page 47 is technically accurate. It reveals nothing about how the math works. You wrote it yourself, and you reviewed it 3 times before you were satisfied with it. You sit in product meetings now. You watch how the monthly auto-ship minimum is calibrated, high enough to generate the volume that funds the bonus structure, low enough that participants don't quit immediately. You understand that the product was never the point. The monthly commitment is the product. The belief that quitting means giving up on yourself, that is the retention mechanism. You design the re-anchoring script for when downline members go quiet. 3 questions. You test them. They work. Your cousin calls on a Wednesday evening. She has been in for 14 months. She has spent $4,100. She has made $340. She is not crying dramatically. She is just tired in her voice. She asks you honestly, does this actually work? You know the answer. You have known it for longer than you have admitted to yourself. You tell her she needs to work on her mindset. You tell her the women who succeed are the ones who don't quit right before the breakthrough. You tell her you believe in her and you need her to believe in herself. She thanks you. She places her next auto-ship order that afternoon. You put the phone down. You move on. You have a quota and a team and 12 unopened messages waiting. Level 6. The founder. You leave the company. You have learned everything it had to teach you. You build your own. Different product, same structure. You know exactly which compensation plan creates the right behavior at each level. You know how to price the starter kit high enough to create commitment, low enough to feel like a reasonable risk. You hire a lawyer to review the income disclosure language, technically accurate. Strategically incomplete, he tells you it is clean. You keep that letter. You sit at the front of the first training of your first cohort. 30 women looking at you the way you once looked at your upline across a coffee table. Notebooks open. Pens ready, eyes carrying the particular brightness of people who have just decided to believe in something. You tell them, don't lead with the business. Lead with genuine interest. Listen. Then share. You hear your upline's voice coming out of your mouth. You do not pause on this. Aftermath. Your phone buzzes on a Tuesday afternoon. A woman 3 levels below you, someone you have never met in person, has sent a voice note to the group. She is crying. She just signed her first recruit. She says she never believed she could do this. She says this community changed her life. She says she is so grateful. The person she just signed is her younger sister. You listen to the voice note. You tap the heart reaction. You put the phone down. Somewhere in another city, a younger sister is sitting down with a notebook, writing the name of everyone she knows. She has been told she has a lot of potential. She believes it completely. You wrote the message her sister sent. You built the script she is about to learn. You designed the list she is about to make. The phone sitting beside her notebook is not a phone. It is the beginning of a conversion. One that will take everything original about her and replace it piece by piece with something the structure can use. She reaches down and picks it up. On the other end, a name from the list is already ringing. She doesn't know yet what she will look like on the other side of this. But you do. You have known for a long time what the end of this process looks like from the inside. You built the room she is sitting in.